As this shutdown drags on, a lot of Americans are feeling pretty low about how things are going right now. We have a new ABC News, Washington Post, and Ipsos poll as well, saying 2/3 of Americans say that the country is pretty seriously off on the wrong track, while just under a third say the country is moving in the right direction. It comes as Democrats actually are looking for some momentum going into next year's midterm elections. And my next guest is the chair of the Democratic Party, Ken Martin, joins me now here in studio. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Kira. It's great to be here.
Let's go kind of a general question here. What happens if you don't sweep tonight? What's the game plan?
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? We're still working right now with just a few hours left in these critical elections across the country of turning out every single vote. And so that's where our focus is right now. We never rest on our laurels, even though I'm pretty confident about the results tonight. We're not complacent. As I said, we're going to continue to work all the way through the polls closing. But right now, it looks like there'll be big wins for us in Virginia, wins in New Jersey, wins in Pennsylvania and in California. And of course, not really reported on much is that there's 100,000 local elections on the ballot, big mayoralships, county board races, city council, school board races, and the Democrats are going to have a big night tonight. And it's going to send a message to Donald Trump and the Republicans that despite early reporting of the death of the Democratic Party, we're back and we're coming for you.
All right, I want to talk to you more about that because we've seen a lot of prominent Democrats endorse Zohran Mamdani. This is a race that's been fascinating for all of us that cover politics, but it took months for Hakeem Jeffries to endorse him, and he was a little reluctant then, and then you had Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who never endorsed him at all. So why do you think the party is so split here?
Well, look, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I endorsed Mamdani the night he won, and I've always said my job is to not pick winners or losers here, put our thumb on the scale. My job as a head of the DNC is to actually honor the will of the primary voters. And the Democratic primary electorate in New York City sent a very clear message that they wanted Zohran Mamdani. He is our nominee, and we support him.
But the top Democrat, in New York isn't supporting him. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, well, look, I would just tell you this. Again, I will continue as long as I'm the head of the DNC to support whoever the Democratic primary voters send us. They're our nominees. We have to fight like hell for them. I think what's important here, though, is folks focus on the differences between our candidates in this big tent party of ours. I want to focus on the similarities because there is a through line right now between Zohran Mamdani, Abigail Spanberger, and Mikey Sherrill as examples. They're all focused on affordability. They're all focused on building a better life for families in this country who are struggling right now. And so there is a through line. This is a big tent party. We have conservative Democrats, centrists, we have progressives, and we have this new left. And the reality is, I've always said as the chair of the DNC now and as the chair of the Minnesota DFL, where I led for 14 years, that we win through addition, not through subtraction. We win by growing our coalition, not by shrinking it. And certainly, by the way, we win by finding candidates who fit their districts or their cities or their states. And we need different people in different spaces around the country to win.
If there's one thing when I'm interviewing folks and those who really want to come back and believe in the Democratic Party, the question they're asking is, who is the leader right now?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Well,
Who's
we got lots
future?
We got lots of leaders, right? I look at our governors, I look at our Democratic attorney generals, our congressional members, our senators. There are lots of great leaders, and we have this amazing new bench of people, young candidates coming in that truly represent the future of the Democratic Party. And so, look, I think we'll have a great bench for 28 for sure. We already have an amazing recruitment class for 2026. I'm confident in our chances to put a check on Donald Trump's power by winning back the U.S. House, maybe even the U.S. Senate in 2026. But look, where I'm focused in right now, today on Election Day, is making sure we turn out every single vote so we can have a big night tonight, and then we'll worry about what 26 looks like tomorrow. Because unfortunately, tomorrow is the first day of the next election. We get no rest.
Well, Mamdani campaigned on the frustration that voters are having right now with the Democratic Party, and we're seeing that emerge in all these other races across the country too. So, is it a bad sign that so many Democratic candidates are actually campaigning against their own party?
Well, look, I don't think they're campaigning against their party. I think what they want is to make sure that they're pushing our party to stand up and fight fight in this moment. The biggest divide that people keep focusing on is ideological.
Well, they're fighting against Trump. Don't they need to be fighting against more than that? Because it's not working. You can't just hate Trump to move the
I agree
needle,
with you on
right?
that, actually. And I've said this a lot. I mean, if all we're doing is resisting Donald Trump, then the one thing we're not doing is giving the American people a sense of who we are, what we're fighting for, and why, right?
This is what voters say they're so
right.
desperate to know. They're tired of, okay, beat up Trump, you don't like Trump, Trump's not working, Trump. Okay, can we just get off the Trump train and tell us what you're going to do for us, and why aren't you making it happen right now?
I agree with you. And that's why, by the way, Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill and Zohar Mamdani are all leading in their races and will win tonight because they actually campaigned for something. They didn't just campaign against Donald Trump. Sure, they talked about Trump in the sense of the disastrous economic policies that he's pushed that have made people's lives much harder over this last year. But what they focused on is offering the American people and the constituents in their states a values proposition. Vote for me, and here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do to make your lives easier. Here's what I'm going to do to lower costs. Here's what I'm going to do to fight for you and your family so you can actually climb the economic ladder and achieve success. That's why they're all leading. And I think that's what every Democrat around the country needs to learn. Campaign for something. Don't just campaign against Donald Trump. We have to, of course, resist him with every fiber of our being because of the existential nature of what he's doing to shred our Constitution. But if we just live in that space, then we're not giving people a sense of what and why they should support Democrats.
All right, midterms right around the corner. You'll come back?
Of course.
Okay, I'm marking it down. Ken Martin, appreciate you.
Thank you so much.